Sagittarius. Whew. Yeah, I gotta say, it's been a wild fucking ride, but this is the other side. And you know what? We're stronger and more powerful for coming out on the other side. It's almost like a self-actualization, realization time. You're real good. Let me say this. Everything that you have experienced up until now has taught you how to be a lie detector for bullshit. And you can smell that crap from a mile away, maybe even more. And the wonderful thing about it is, I think that you're like sort of adapting yourself to sort of do this work for other people, to let them, to tell them what they need to know and what they need to hear when they need to hear it. Also call people out on their bullshit, but it's not about you so much anymore. It's about awakening to sort of what's more important, what's bigger and larger than you, the bigger story. Let's talk a little bit about what the hell we had to get through to get here. I mean, so many times you feeling like you didn't succeed or failed. It's not even just about failure, though. It's about feeling like you disappointed somebody. Feeling like, it was your fault that something didn't happen or something went wrong, or that, maybe there was a rashness, there was not abrasiveness, but a rashness in behavior where you're remembering these things now. And holy shit, did I really behave like that? Did I really act like that? Seeing for the first time yourself through the eyes of the person that you disappointed. Now, why is this good news? Because you're not that person anymore. And that's the real good news, is realizing that you have grown beyond what disappointed you about yourself. And in being able to see those aspects that disappointed you in yourself, you are also now able to see or help to, it's almost like a hacker. Y'all got mad hacking skills. And you're sort of turning that around, flipping it around and being like, okay, if I know how to decode something or codes, whatever they do, and I know how to hack into something, I can use my talents for good or evil. And it's almost like, you've done it for the wrong reasons, and now you're going to do it for the right reasons. And I'm not saying actual evil, like you guys were bad, but that it's almost like up until this point, you weren't even using all of yourself and all of your capabilities to their highest good. And you can't really use anything to their highest good until you realize what is best, and starting to see things. It's really interesting. It's like for the first time ever, you get this super powered understanding, like an understanding that charges you, especially if you were in any way starting to feel like your fire was burning out. Because for whatever reason, it's almost like maybe you didn't draw enough people around that fire anymore. You were so you started out the gate like everybody wanted to come to the parties. And then slowly but surely, people started to wane and people started to fade. And it didn't feed the fire as much. Of course, this is the truth that happens when we mature and when we grow, realizing that, maybe more and more people, maybe less and less people started showing up for the fire, because the truth is less and less people actually fed your fire. You throw in a big old party and everybody comes because they just want free shit, but who's actually feeding your fire? And now, and as you grew up, you started to learn, I could be known for these big parties. This is a metaphor. I could be known for these big parties. I could be known for a lot of fucking things. But ultimately, what is feeding me? What is feeding me, and who's just kicking dirt on my flames? And less people started to arrive, because more and more you started to see shit you started to say shit. And you started to talk up about shit. And people don't like to be confronted about their shit. right? And so less and less people started to show, because clearly then there was, well, there was an expected exchange. Feed my fire or don't come to sit around it. And it's really become very clear to you. And that I think was almost like, maybe not a dark night of the soul, no. But it was a hard time. It was a rough time when you suddenly realize, nobody's coming around my fire. What the hell were they all here for? Right? And then what do I do to attract the right people? Well, that answer was a little bit more difficult, because it turned into, well, to attract the right people, you have to be the right person, right? Because we all attract the energy that we put out. And maybe that was the dark night of the soul, facing the fact that if you attracted shallow people, or you attracted a lot of people that didn't like you that much, but just were there to hang out, well, then who am I? How am I behaving? What does that say about me when I'm attracting all these people that really, when I actually look at them, I don't even like them? And this is where you entered your birth canal. And we've all went through this birth canal, and it was uncomfortable, and boy, was it a squeeze. But ultimately what we came out is somebody that was much wiser and grown, and maybe even in some ways now able to help others or call people out on their bullshit a lot quicker, so they never even get close to your fire, recognizing that your fire is your heart, it's your soul, it's your energy. And people don't get to just feed off of that. They get to feed it. And when they feed it, they feel the warmth of it. And there is so much warmth in your life now, coming from people who actually contribute to your life instead of just take away. And it was hard, I think, for you to trust again. But very specifically now, you're starting to see the other side of things. And there's a little bit of a complication. Do I trust them? Are they different? Have they changed? Is this situation different? Let's see. Let me get into the cards. Please stick around for the whole reading, because I don't want you to miss your the Oracle and Lenormand cards, first of all. And second of all, the animal totem energies, which is what's going to really show you guys how the universe, the natural world, the universe is using the natural world to communicate to you and what those messages are. And then last but not least, your angel messages, which speak in a completely different voice than mine. There's always your extended as well. And that link is below. 2 readings in 1. That's your romance reading and the extension of these messages articulating a lot of specifics. So that's over in the extended. Let's get into your cards. It's time to take action, new moon in Aries. So this is really refueling your fire. Maybe finally recognizing for the first time ever what actually refuels your fire. You know, and now we're in Aries season, and there's so much fire in the air. And there's a lot of energy to actually help to refuel you. So this is a time when after you've been depleted, you know, because you've cleared out the shit, after you've been depleted, now this is a time to get re-infused with faith and belief and energy. Believe in the impossible. See, something's come. It's almost like something's coming to a head. Something's happening that you never thought would be. And I can feel the hesitation in you. I can still feel like the doubt that's going on in you. Like, should I trust this? Is this real? Is this safe for me? Right? But not even just is it safe. I don't know. You're like, oh, I don't know. Well, guess what? Nobody knows. But you do know. It's not about changing the people that you're around. It's about changing who you are. Changing who you are so A, you attract different people, and B, you draw different aspects out of people. It's not just them. It is you. And it's a combination of them and you. And why will things be okay now? Because you've learned to behave differently. You've learned to react differently, and you've also learned to pull back your energy when it's just too much for you. Like you're allowed to now crown, understanding, thinking, realizing, comprehending, using that crown chakra, connecting a higher sense of spiritual enlightenment that may make you go crazy or you feel like you're insane, or recognizing the madness or insanity in others. I feel like these cards right here are just a big ass trip. It's like you went on a big ass trip. Maybe had an eye-opening, mind-expanding experience that made you realize and see things in a way that you hadn't seen them before. And I think there was so many more colors than you thought. The world became a lot more vivid after this experience sort of altered your mind and changed. I don't know if this is literally an altered state, but it is like an altered state of your mind, because all of a sudden it's like things aren't the same. You're seeing them differently. This is interesting energy. Breathe, the lungs. Maybe you're finally coming to realization or understanding of something that's going on, something that's happening to you. It's like all of a sudden, but these two, all of a sudden, you realize it, you see. But see, these two cards right here are like energy. I think there's a lot of energy in your lungs, like taking energy into your body, feeling that fuel. I'm telling you, right? Air. Air fuels the fire. It's not just air though, it's thoughts. It's people inspiring you. You're able to finally take in their ideas, suck it in and let them supercharge you. Use those ideas, use that inspiration. Even if you feel crazy, even if it seems crazy, it doesn't matter. What matters is it's fueling, it's giving you your energy. Lungs are Gemini energy too. It's also about not only taking in energy, but speaking it out, saying it, expressing it. How are you going to express yourself? How have you been inspired to express yourself now? Because there's a lot of images and a lot of ideas rolling around. And don't think for a minute any of them is crazy. I wouldn't discount any of them at this point. Interesting. This is like, ooh, I don't know what the fuck this is. This is a fractured path. That's what this is. And I knew it. It's almost like you had to go through the ending to get, you did. Everybody had to go through the ending to get to the beginning. But it's like the fragmented road, the fractured path. The fractured path to yourself. Maybe in some ways you had to get hurt to understand it. I don't know if there's injury here, but this certainly looks like there was injury at one point that made you look at yourself or your situation in a completely different way. And there could have been a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of broken road. Ever heard that country song, God Bless the Broken Road That Led Me Straight to You? I don't think that you would have been able to realize how beautiful this moment is without realizing everything beforehand that wasn't it. And it's like when you see yourself in the mirror and you get that fractured reflection, you have to then put yourself back together. How are you putting yourself back together? In your own image, in the image that you have created from the ground up. And it's almost like this break needed to happen in order to find yourself. This is interesting energy. Turquoise. I drew turquoise for you from the angel cards. And turquoise is your color. Turquoise is the color for December. It's the birthstone. Spiritual path. Your true beliefs are becoming clearer to you, which prompts you to make necessary life changes. This is all about you and all about your truth. It's like you had to have this fractured shattering in order to rebuild yourself in your true image, not in the image that you were maybe playing to or playing into, right? maybe fucking partying like crazy or some weird shit like that. I don't know. Or doing things that was reckless, doing things that eventually fucking hurt you and brought you to a point where you didn't even recognize yourself. And you're like, who the fuck am I? And that's what this is. This is like, I was like, what is this one Lenormand card? The woman card or the man, who cares? This is who am I? Who am I even? It's also about growth, development, and maturity. And holy shit, was this a long, winding road. Resilience, rise above tribulations. Not just tribulations from the outside, tribulations from in who you are. Are you ashamed of yourself? Not that you should be. I'm not judging. But like the shame, the disappointment. Why even bother with those things? Because they don't help you keep moving forward. You have decided to keep moving forward beyond everything that you were and totally come around full circle to be what you always knew you could be. Deciding to not give up on yourself was the best decision you ever made because there was something so much more worthwhile inside of you. And you did, you kept going. And now coming through the opposite side, you start to see who you really are and what you really believe. And there's no way that this is like the most whole you might have felt in a very long time. I will guide. You see that there's people who need you now. And I don't think you're not afraid to be needed now. Because you know how to help. There's some sort of you watching over somebody else or giving to somebody else or teaching somebody else, having the lesson plans to be able to teach somebody else and guide them. And help them to not judge themselves as they grow through their crazy ass period. I will encourage, not discourage. Something tells me that you may have been very discouraged when you were young. And you know that shit's just not worth it. You're finally free of the masquerade of whoever it was, of the falsehood, of the falseness, of the false people that you knew you really couldn't trust. You're finally free of those motherfuckers. And you're also finally free of any kind of mask that you felt you had to wear. New beginning. Prosperity and freedom says there's some sort of financial beginning again. It's like you're free from those financial constraints, so you don't have to wear the mask you used to have to wear because you finally found a way to maybe make your own money, you know, or whatever, come out on the other side in a place where you're better off, where you can actually be all of who you are and not have to hold back. But it's hard right now. You're still at a point where it's new and you're still trying to get used to trusting that you can actually let go. See, there's one part of her that really wants to let go, and there's the other part of her that's like, no, I'm not ready. There's lots of emotions here that are holding me down. I still remember so much of it. Time to let go. I still remember so much of what? Something that's over, something that's past, somebody that betrayed you. Oh, fuck. Did I not see this? Are you guys having a hard time because somebody that once fucked you up is back into your life now? And it's almost like you feel like you have to find a way it's like you have to find a way to make this into something else, not falsely. It's like you have to find a way, not to make amends, but to let bygones be bygones. It's all a testament to who you've become. Especially if this is somebody who contributed to your fracturing. It's almost like you... It's almost like that's when you're really going to be tested to see. And It's not even that God needs to test you. It's that it's almost like you needed to go through this test. You're purposely, intentionally putting yourself back into this position so you can see how much you've grown and changed. Stick around for the angel messages, but before you do, please subscribe to the channel. And if you really like this message, like it and share it on your social media platforms. Also, ring that bell and hit all notifications. I upload Sagittarius along with Scorpio and Libra every single Tuesday before 6 a.m. Pacific time. So I hope you can tune in. Also, there's always a Vimeo. Also, tune in to my Instagram profile, born_without_boundaries. Monday through Friday, I go live there and do a free tarot card reading. I'd love to see you over there. I'd also love to see you on my new channel, Astrology Motivation. And that's where I house all that content that's going to help you restructure, heal, and manifest, as well as your weekly astrology forecast is over there. So let's get into your animal totems. Let's see how nature is going to be communing with you right now. Co-create with spirit. Yeah, there was definitely some sort of bad news or hard times. You faced hard times, because this is always the truth, but it's almost like it's like Crow shows up to fucking tell you, you better hold tight because it's going to be a rough patch. So there was some rough patch here, but it was a rough patch that was designed by spirit, not to break you down and not to kill you, but to make you stronger. And that's exactly what you were going through. And it hurt. It could have had to do with disease. It could have had to do with sickness. It could have had to do with just being brokenhearted. But it was meant to frustrate you and test you. And also, you know, maybe break you down a little bit so that it could build you up in a different way, or you could have the opportunity to be built up in a different way. Actually, somehow identifying the illness or sickness about you, maybe not inside of you, but around you, or whatever applies. And then just trust. You had to just, you had no choice but to strap in and go along for the ride. And it taught you something, and it taught you that you can trust, that things are going to be okay, that you can come out on the other side even if it looks the worst. It is possible to get better. So if anything, this added to your ability to be optimistic. This is also allowing somebody else to carry your weight. You know, like just allowing yourself to trust. It's like that exercise you do. You ever do that trust exercise where you fall back and trust that people are going to catch you? It's actually really hard to do because it's counterintuitive. But this is just diving in all the way. You're in deep. Be fearless and bold. You took that leap. You dove in deep, and now you're in all the way. I don't know if you're getting hesitation or fear. It says take time out. Take time out to do what's right for you. Also to heal. Like allow yourself to be carried for a while so that you can heal. Or for some of you, it could be take time out from what you dove into because it's gotten to be too heavy. It's gotten to be too much. Whatever it is that you need, take it. This is you finding your fire again. Relighting your flame. And it could be as simple as relighting your flame by not like letting people come around to burn it out, who burn it out. Let's get into your angel messages. Diversity. Oh, Jesus. Diversity. I knew this came out. Sacred space. Positive thinking. Okay. Positive thinking is vital in creating a healthy and abundant life. A positive attitude along with positive beliefs and thoughts are crucial ingredients for creating happiness. Don't worry. Think love. Told you you're building your optimism. Sacred space. We, your guardian angels, surround you with emerald, gold, and rose pink light. Surrender your concerns and worries and enter this sacred space of love and healing. This is a time to trust that things can get better, because they are, as long as you direct them that way with your thoughts. Love. The heart of love is the heart of creation. All is possible through love. All is worthwhile for love. May all you think and feel reflect love's eternal truth. And there we have the inspiration, that flame that lit the flame. Love. Prayer. No matter how difficult the situation may seem, all is possible. Ask. We are listening. Diversity. The world would be a boring place if we were all the same. Celebrate your uniqueness. You are special and much loved. I think this is about you finally being able to be yourself out loud. And through that, there's like a catharsis of releasing and letting go. Maybe you had to disguise and pretend, or felt like you had to pretend for years that you were something, happy birthday identity, that you were not. And if you can see or identify that in other people, you can help them along, alleviate their pain. Destiny. Your destiny is to blossom, to shine, to transform to an ever greater light. You are growing brighter. Let's go over to tarot and see. I'll see you guys over there.